Pokemon Sword and Shield are bad Pokemon games, and that is not exaggeration. I've played every single main series game from Red to Sword, and I also played through a lot of the side titles such as Pokemon XD and Pokemon Ranger, shit like that. Now I could sit here all day and list through every single problem I have, but we'd be here until we colonize Mars, and I don't have time for that. So I narrowed it down to 3 main points as to why I feel like this game fails as a Pokemon game. It's not to say that this game has no redeeming qualities whatsoever, but that'll be for a different video. I'm focusing on the bad today, the disappointments. Why Generation 8 of Pokemon, the first time it debuts on a home console capable of high definition graphics, is lackluster. The 3 main reasons are that its presentation is awful, virtually has 0 post-game, and of course the National Dex, and yes, it is a big deal. But before we go on, please drop a like and subscribe, it really helps the channel out, and let's get right into it. Let's not waste any more time. So when it comes to the presentation, right, as I said before, we're going from the 3DS to the Switch. Hardware that is at least 3 times more powerful. It's probably a lot more than that, but I'm not really into specs or anything. The point is, we're going from handheld to home console. Why does it look so similar to Generation 7? This game honestly feels like a super HD cleaned up version of Ultra Sun set in like Europe. That's kind of all it is. In fact, in some ways it's worse. Some of the routes in Alola were better. They were more spaced out. There was more room to explore. I actually kind of got lost a few times. Not like for long, of course, but I was like, oh wow, like this route actually has a lot of options. You can go left, right, up, hitting items here or there. But in Galar, it's straight lines everywhere. Straight linear routes, few items, couple trainers, and that's it. It's like they put all their budgeting into the wild area and the new models for the new Pokemon, and everything else was just whatever. Oh shit, we gotta get this route done, which is whip it up real quick. That's kind of what it felt like. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this game is what I would call inconsistent. There's some spikes where the game looks really good, but overall it doesn't hold up. It doesn't feel like a Switch game. As far as Pokemon Next Gen, this ain't it, chief. This ain't it at all. Okay, so when it comes to the music, there's some pretty good tunes in here, but the trainer battle theme, it's not doing it for me. I don't know. I don't really like it. This, along with the champion theme and a couple other songs in the game, I just flat out did not like. When it comes to the music in the routes, it's okay. It's just forgettable. I honestly don't even know how to comment on the music on the routes. They're fine. Like in this soundtrack, I don't think I'll find myself coming back to re-listen to anything except for the Battle Tower theme. That shit is fucking amazing. It's so good, and it's just crazy that it just saved for the last part of the game. Like, I feel like most people won't even make it that far. Most people who buy video games don't even complete them, especially RPGs. So a good amount of people are never going to hear this song. And with that, we have a game that visually doesn't look too good and musically is or passable at the best. Not looking too good for the first Pokemon game on a home console, but it's okay. You know, how about the content in the game? What's there to do after the shallow main adventure? Do you guys remember the days when they would give us a whole nother region after you beat the Elite Four? Remember when they gave us the Battle Frontier, the Survival Area, Stark Mountain, the whole other side of a region? Those were the glory days, and X and Y decided to say fuck that, you get a Battle Maze on, and ORAS decided to just sprinkle the Battle Frontier in front of us and just never give it to us like a bunch of assholes. Gen 7 was pretty similar. There was a little more to do in the Ultra games. You can catch all the Pokemon in the Ultra wormholes, and you know, you had the battle tree in some parts of Pony Island, but it wasn't too impressive either. It was a little more than Kalos, I'll give it that. And I thought by this game it would take another step in the right direction, but lo and behold, nah, they went backwards. There's like one mission where you have to go through and refight Dynamax Pokemon in all the gyms and fight 2 bozos who claim to be the royalty. I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to get it through so I can catch my box art legendary and keep it moving to the Battle Frontier. All you have here is the wild area, max raid battles, and like online battle / Battle Frontier. The thing with the wild area is that it's not exactly a post-game feature, I would say, because you go through it twice throughout your main adventure. And yes, there are some new parts that open up and you can catch new Pokemon as well, but really? That's it? Let's say you caught a bunch of Pokemon in your playthrough, you go to the Battle Tower, you beat Leon a couple times, you catch your box art legendary by doing that side mission. You're pretty much done with the game if you're not really into online battling. The only thing left for you to do is to complete the Pokedex, which if you're pretty adamant on completing that goal, you can get that shit done before the end of the year. Let's be real, you can get that shiny charm and start shiny hunting right away. And speaking of Pokedex, yes, the National Pokedex is a problem. It does affect competitive play whether or not people realize it or not. And yeah, I'm gonna be honest, there really wasn't much good that came from cutting the National Pokedex. When people say it's for balancing online, that makes no sense, cause Pokemon has always banned Pokemon that were deemed too powerful. Or Smogon users would say, hey, he's too powerful, put him in Uber, it's done. You don't need to chop off half the Pokemon. That's kind of screwed up when you think about it, especially since they didn't reveal that number till much later. I honestly assumed they were probably going to cut about 200, maybe 300 max. But then we find out there's only 400 Pokemon in the entire game, and no others are available to make their way in. And I was like, oh shit, that's a lot of Pokemon. They cut out my favorite Pokemon, Scizor. You know, it's tough. It was a sad day. Oh man, this game is a rush job. Hands down, no denying it. They obviously had a deadline to meet, and they probably knew they weren't going to make it on time. I'm sure it probably wasn't Game Freak's fault on that. Maybe the Pokemon Company or Nintendo was like, hey, get this shit done by a certain date. And Game Freak was like, oh, in order for that to happen, we got to do this, and this. And hey, I get it. If your bosses tell you got to do something, you got to make it work. But it's another thing to do a rush job and release a shitty game than to do a rush job and release a shitty game and lie about the reason why certain things aren't the way we want them to be. I went in on the whole lying thing in a different video, which I'll link below, so I'm not going to repeat it here. But the point is that this game, as the next gen Pokemon experience, unfortunately fails. And with that, fellas, I hope you liked today's video. Please drop a like, it really does help the channel, and share this video out. Let the world know that this is a bad Pokemon game and that we as fans deserve better. Take care and have a good night.